Is the 2023 Volvo XC90 Recharge all-wheel drive bright worth the price of $83,460? We're going to take a close look at this denim blue model today and see what the answer to that question is. I'm going to show you what you can expect to find if this is a model you want to buy. Just basically show you the ins and the outs of this model. It has a smooth, comfortable ride. The second and third row seating, this is a three row, by the way, if you didn't know that, are spacious, great handling, smooth ride quality. And for 2023, the trim levels have been revamped, as have the engines. There have been some changes to the engines, by the way, and quite a bit going on here. So a very nice vehicle, to say the very least. Elegant inside and out. Let's take a look at exactly what it's all about. I didn't mean to sound like the cat in a hat there, even though I basically did, but I promise that wasn't intentional. Taking a look at the front end, you're going to have the LED headlights and LED daytime running lights, also the high pressure headlight washers. That's what this is, in case you're wondering. Obviously that's going to come out and spray fluid over the headlights to keep everything nice and clean. Being the bright theme, that means that you're going to have chrome all over the vehicle. So if you like chrome, whether it's the surround on this lower area right here, the chrome grille, even the chrome surround around the windows as well. Also what we have here with the roof rails, that is what that's basically all about for the most part. The tire size is going to be 275/40. So if you're wondering, what does that mean? 275 is the width. That's one reason this vehicle handles so well. In fact, you can probably hear right now that the handling is so hot that the fire department is on their way here. So 275 on the width, a 40 series sidewall, and hopefully without my shadow on it right there, there are the 21-inch wheels. Let's not get that wrong, because then the correction Nazis would send the fire department my way too. As far as what the remote looks like, there are no changes in this area for 2023, but in case you're saying, well, I've never seen the remote for the Volvo XC90, well, now you have. And you have the turn signal indicators built into these power folding side view mirrors. So let's see if I can get those to fold for you. There we go. We'll lock the vehicle and let that happen. And there you go. As far as that goes, everybody knows the answer to that question. I know a lot of people like to know if it has the power folding side view mirrors. And obviously the heart and soul of the XC90 Recharge is going to be the fact that you have the plug-in hybrid capabilities here. Here is where you will, well, plug in. Obviously, the cable is provided with the vehicle by Volvo. And then under the hood, with the hybrid powertrain, you're going to have the gas burning portion come in as a 2-liter direct injection turbocharged 4-cylinder. Combined power here, 455 horsepower, 523 pounds-feet of torque. It's all mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and power ultimately finds its way to the ground through all-wheel drive. And how about those important MPGs? As you can see, 58 miles per gallon right here, 27 miles per gallon when you're on gas only. And when you're on gas only, you should use 3.7 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And then right here, 0.1 gallons of gas when you're in hybrid mode, in pure electric mode, basically. I know it's not what it's called, but when you're on electric power, 0.1 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven, and then 55 kilowatt hours per every 100 miles driven. As far as that goes, that's pretty impressive, to say the very least. And if you're wondering what can you do as far as driving on electric or battery only, that's going to be about 35 miles. And here on the rear, well, you won't really see a major difference as far as the design or anything goes. Your typical Volvo rear taillights, which do look very well done, tastefully done, by the way. And then the rear roof spoiler, that's actually supposed to help as far as when the vehicle's driving down the road to channel air over this rear window to keep it from getting so dirty. But obviously when you're sitting still, well, you can't really do anything about that. That's why you have the rear window wiper here. And then let's go ahead, in fact, before I open that, let's do it this way. Obviously, you're going to have the power hands-free tailgate back here, or lift gate, I should say. And then you can run your foot right there. Let's see if I can do that correctly. Come on. There we go. We got it on the second try. I don't do this every single day. But you can tow up to 5,000 pounds with this XC90 Recharge if that's what you're desiring to do. And cargo capacity comes in at 11.16 cubic feet up to 64.1 cubic feet. And if you're wondering about what that really means, well, here's an easy way to know. I'm going to maximize the cargo space for you just to show you how all of this works. Right here, we'll pull this up. But as far as that goes, what that actually means, if you want to know a good measurement, that means that you could put 11.16 basketballs back here up to 64.1 basketballs, because a basketball is the size of a cubic foot, or should I say a cubic foot is the size of a basketball. And here is your cable. I've got everything kind of in a big pile back here because I wanted to make sure to put those rear seats up so I can show you how much leg space you have back there. But you have your cargo cover, you have the charging cable right here. I told you that came with the vehicle as we talked about earlier. And then obviously when you want to close the rear door, you have two options right here. You can hit the button on the left, it just closes the door. The button on the right closes the door and locks the interior at the same time if that's what's best for your situation. Okay, let's take a look into the interior, a little more in-depth look than what we've already had. Obviously, you have the sunshades right here that can be put in place to keep the sun out, privacy increase, whatever rear seat passengers want to use those, or should I say middle row passengers. Nice materials, very soft right here. That is a very comfortable armrest. And then here is the door bin, put all the snacks and whatever people want in there. And one thing I want to make sure I point out here, notice the difference between the positioning of the seat here on the left side and the seats on the right side. These can be moved back and forth quite a bit, so that makes a big difference. And to hop into the back seat, we're just going to pull up right there and move that up and out of the way. It would slide forward on the tracks down there if I didn't have it moved so far forward yet, but I wanted to do that just for convenience purposes. Now let's see if I can get back here. There we go. Now, yeah, the leg space back here is a little bit tight. I could, as an adult that's 5'10", I could probably handle riding back here around town, but not a multi-hour trip out on the road anywhere. But just so you kind of know what's here as far as all that goes. You can see the air conditioning vent over there. In fact, I'll pan back over this way so it's a little bit easier to see everything. There's a cup holder here and plenty of space, a little bit of storage right there concealed away. So it just kind of gives it a nice look. And then the panoramic sunroof, a very nice look from the rear seat area. And even though I know I said there's ample space for legroom in the middle and third row seating areas, yeah, I mean, it's not too bad back here. I can't stretch out, but I also don't have my knees all the way up against the seats. I'm pretty close, but I'm sitting straight up, and that is what I have. I would probably, if I was an adult, want to sit here in the middle row or call a shotgun. And then when it comes to what your middle row seat passengers are going to find, you've got these storage pockets here on the rear of the seats. Obviously, they can control the fan speed and the temperature. It is a quad zone climate control system. As you can see, you have dual zone here in the rear, or you can obviously set those individually depending on what people want to do. And we have dual zone in the front, so a total of quad zone, 4 zones. And then the outboard seats here are heated, so that's a very nice feature there as well. Too bad they're not ventilated as well, but I don't know, not a big deal necessarily. But then you're going to have your USB connectivity down there. I always wonder why there aren't 3 of those, because you do have seating for 3 people back here, but when there are not 3 people, here is the fold-down armrest with the built-in cup holders right there, so that way you can kind of see what's here. And then again, air conditioning vents. I like the fact that even though you have air conditioning vents right here, that's not as good of a position for air conditioning vents for your rear seat passengers. It's nice to have them right here, really aimed in the right direction instead of having to come up from below, so to speak. So that's a good thing, but a lot of airflow back here, because obviously 4 different vents for the middle row seat passengers makes a big difference. Just a quick look there at the panoramic sunroof from this angle. And for the passengers out there who say, I can't stand small door bins, give me the largest possible, call shotgun, because here it is. The largest door bins you're going to find are going to be on the front doors, In fact, you could put a giant bottle in here. Depending on what you have, it'll fit way up here. More of the soft touch materials for the comfortable armrest. And I like the fact that not only on the driver's side, but here on the passenger side as well, 3 different settings for seat memory. That makes a big difference. And you have the heated and ventilated seats here in the front, fully adjustable, including this front extension that really does make a big difference. If you pull that all the way back in, you're going to find yourself bringing it back out to some degree because it really does make a difference in how comfortable these seats are. So let me hop inside here. And if you're wanting to get into the glove box, well, don't go reaching around here because there's no handle on the glove box. There is a button right here that opens the glove box, but there's no gloves in the glove box, just materials. I got your owner's manual, all that kind of stuff is there. And the crystal shifter, a very nice, elegant look. You know, I talk about all the elegant materials throughout the interior. On most vehicles, you can't say that the shifter is elegant, but you can say that here. And then again, something that I know a lot of people have complained about in the past when it comes to the infotainment screen is that it was so difficult to use. And yeah, to some degree, I guess that was true, but the truth of the matter now is that you can use Google Voice to adjust the temperature of the air and all that good stuff. So that makes a big difference. We'll take a closer look at the screen here shortly. Then you're going to have your 12-volt power outlet right there. You're going to have the cup holders here. And then behind the shifter, obviously there's your button to go into park. Here's how you're going to start and stop the engine. And then we've got our power parking brake right there. And let's see if I can find the button. Where is that? It's hard to do, and I'm not used to doing it from this side. But there is the space we have within the center console. USB connectivity right there. There is a little bit of space in there. And if you want to control everything as far as the panoramic sunroof goes and the shade that it has, you can actually bring the shade forward. That's all you have to do is just use your finger like that. So obviously this front portion does slide open, but just wanted to show you that you do have the shade here as well, in case you were curious about that. And let's see here. Let's see how we do with our sun visor. Hi, everybody. And then we'll open this up. If I can get it out, that's a little hard to do one-handed. One thing I guess I am a little surprised at here. This does not seem to extend back, so that's a little surprising. So I guess if the guys from the straight pipes are watching, they're probably disappointed. By the way, if you're wondering, what is that QR code for right there? Well, I did kind of misspeak earlier when I talked about owner's manuals and stuff being in here. You actually scan that with your phone and you'll get it here. Manuals, you got frequently asked questions, videos right here, nice little tutorials there. So if you're wondering about all of that, well, now you know what that is. And that's what this is for, to tell you that you need to scan that QR code inside of the visor. And for the most part, we're going to see the same, well, basically everything we saw on the passenger side. A few more buttons over here, controls for the power side view mirrors, control all 4 windows right here. Let me not get tongue twisted on that. And then lock and unlock, all that good stuff. And here are the controls for the seat right here as far as adjusting everything goes. This is how you're going to actually control that extension right there that we were talking about earlier. If you were curious about that, that's where that comes in. So let's hop inside here and take a look at everything. We'll move the steering wheel around there. And you can see a very nice instrument cluster. Everything is digital, everything is modern. It looks really nice, very easy to use. Obviously, you're going to have adaptive cruise control. You have co-pilot assist and all that, so it makes it very easy to drive this vehicle. And then right here, the one thing that I know a lot of people are confused about, they know they can use the functionality for the headlights here, but they wonder, why does it do that? Well, that corresponds with the blinkers on the outside of your vehicle, and it lets people know what direction you're going to be turning or when you're going to be changing lanes in front of them. I can't say anything sarcastic or smart-aleck about the control for the front and rear window wipers, but yet here that control is. And moving back over here to the center screen that has Google Assistant, this is how easy it is to use. Hey, Google, tell me a joke.
Did you hear about the snowman that got upset when the sun came out? He had a total meltdown.
Just give Google a courtesy laugh. It's okay. You can laugh at her, but probably not with her on that joke. And then obviously everything here, you can see what's there. You can pair your phone and all that good stuff. But I like the 360-degree view camera that we have here. So we're going to push right there. That gives us the overhead view. If you need to zoom in anywhere, well, you're going to push right there. And then to get back to that area, we're going to hit that again. Obviously, you have a view from literally everywhere above and around the vehicle, so it makes it very convenient. And then something I do want to show right here, we're going to go into driving. We went into settings and then driving. And if you're wondering where are the driving modes, it used to be that you had the selector right down here with the control for turning the engine on and off. It was right here, just a little wheel you scrolled. Well, not anymore. So you've got all of your different driving modes here. So depending on what you want to do, well, that's how you're going to select that. So in case you were curious, I know a lot of people don't necessarily know about that yet. That'll save you some frustration right there. A pretty simple system to use now, especially with Google integration. You do have the maps built in, so that's always a good thing. I know a lot of people ask about that because they're, well, curious, and I understand. And then some of the one-touch buttons down here as far as what you can use. You got your hazard lights right there. You can change the volume here and turn the radio on and off. Pretty easy to figure out what all is here. I showed you what that is for earlier. And you do have more of that kind of chrome surround mixed in with a little bit of gloss black. So if you like both, well, that's good because you have a little bit of both here. And if you want to conceal everything away and just make it look kind of neat and clean, so to speak, well, there's how you do that. So quiet in here, you can easily hear that I have my blinker turned on. Yes, I gave you the blinker tutorial earlier, and I use my blinkers too, so I'm not a hypocrite. Quiet, very quiet. No problems getting up to speed. You can see I have everything set up here on the screen for you just to see the driving modes and all that good stuff. Depending on how much charge capacity you have, you can go to pure right here in the center. Of course, you can go to hybrid if you want to. Whatever the situation is, this model does have some off-roading capabilities. Not massive, it's not a Jeep, it's not a Land Rover, contrary to what people say in the comments who don't actually own the Land Rovers that say they're not really capable off-road, but all of that is there. So a very nice system here, very smooth acceleration as far as when you're using the pure mode right there. It's a very enjoyable vehicle to drive, and you have your blind spot information system to help out in a lot of different ways. You know, if it were me, this is just Tomology if you want to call it that, looking in my rear view mirror right now, I see the headrests back there, and I realized that if there was a couple of people sitting back there, this is a 7-row SUV, so you've got 2 seats here in the front, 2 in the very rear, and the 3 in the middle. Well, if 2 people were sitting in the rear back there, or maybe 1 in the middle here as well, well, you're not going to be able to use your rear view mirror, and having the blind spot information system obviously helps out a lot with that, but it would be nice to see a rear view camera. We know the technology is there to do that, so just something that I'm thinking about. Maybe we'll see that in the future. But an overall enjoyable vehicle to drive, and it may sound like there's a lot of road noise right now. Well, being that I'm in pure mode, well, you're going to hear a lot more. And I don't have the air conditioner up real high or anything like that, and I don't have anyone in here to talk to, don't have the radio turned on, none of that. So what about a little acceleration test just to see how it does? Boy, it gets up and goes when you want it to. Wow, that was kind of a surprise, but with all that horsepower combined, 455 horsepower, well, I guess that shouldn't be much of a surprise. This is not something you necessarily expect. You don't have that programmed into your thinking when it comes to driving a Volvo XC90. The ride quality itself is good here. The handling is very good. This heated steering wheel that is leather wrapped is very, very comfortable. Just an overall enjoyable vehicle to drive. Very easy to learn the technology here. I know a lot of people will talk about how difficult these infotainment screens are to use, and in the past maybe that was a little more true than it is now. But being that we have Google Assistant now, well, obviously that's going to make a big difference. We're going to go ahead and hop on over here. And, well, I was hoping to do another little acceleration pull, but that's not going to happen. But overall, a very enjoyable vehicle to drive. It has that luxurious feel to it, as it should, not only just with the overall materials in the interior here, but also with the way the seats feel. Nice and comfortable, Nappa leather. What would you expect there? So overall, these XC90 Recharge models definitely really getting on up there in high-end luxury. The question is obviously, what do you think about the price? And that is what you get for $83,460 on this particular model of the 2023 Volvo XC90 Recharge. Tell me what you think. Do you think that's a good price? Would you be willing to buy one of these? Tell me down in the comments section what your answer is, and tell me why you answered the way that you did. I'm always curious to know. Gotta say a special thanks to my friends at Volvo Cars of Shreveport for loaning me this XC90 for the day, and all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and would like to know more about other vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.